Hi, my name is Amanda Ulrich, and this is my PowerPoint presentation for my personal and social ethics class. Some biblical passages that I think are main passages talking about Christian ethics are Mark 12:30 through 31. That goes along with 1 Corinthians 13:1 through 3. Mark talks about how we're to love God first and love our neighbor as ourselves. Those are like the key things to being a Christian. That's what Jesus says is the main commandments. So everything we're to do in love, and then it goes along with 1 Corinthians 13 through 3, because that talks about if we're not doing anything in love, we're just making noise. We are nothing, and we're not gaining anything from it. Matthew 16:24 is another, and so we're supposed to take up our cross and deny ourselves, and by denying ourselves and putting God first, there is a much greater chance that we'll be doing the will of God because we'll be putting Him above ourselves. And lastly is Matthew 11:28 through 30. Christians are called to give their burdens over to God and put our trust in Him for Him to just handle the issues and problems of our lives. So by living this and really giving our cares over to God and then taking His yoke on us, we're able to have just that inner peace and that change and that difference, that we can be that light in the world instead of be like everyone else and bogged down and weighed down by just our burdens and our worries. Next is the ethical insight I've gained from this class. One is on military and the murder versus killing scenario. The next is euthanasia. And last is death penalty. So the military and murder versus killing scenario, C.S. Lewis talks about the murder versus killing scenario in Mere Christianity. It's something I've heard a little bit about before, but he goes into more detail. And it's Exodus 20:13 says, "Thou shalt not kill." And C.S. Lewis states how if you go into the definition of that word kill, it's talking about premeditated murder and not just killing someone in defense or any other kind. So in the military, generally, when you have to kill someone, you don't think about it ahead of time. It's either reaction or a defense to what they're doing to you. So I'm more with the military, and the murder within a war zone is a justifiable situation. The next is euthanasia. Like culturally, if you go with the reason of today, euthanasia should be allowed because it takes away the person's pain, the family's pain, and any financial pain. However, I think that everyone is here for a reason, and that our lives are more valuable than that. Also, euthanasia would be premeditated murder, so that would go along with the "thou shalt not kill." So that's my thoughts on euthanasia, whereas before this class I hadn't really talked about it or thought about it much. It hasn't something that's affected me personally, and if it does, I might not feel the same way, but that's where I stand right now. And then there's the death penalty. I'm an abolitionist for the death penalty until they can guarantee 100% guilt, because there are innocent men who die on death row, and through the death penalty, and then the guilty parties are free, still doing whatever they were doing in the first place. So that's really, like, when it comes down to the death penalty as a whole, I don't have a complete answer, but I do think they should stop the death penalty, or just put it to people who are like, you're 120,000% guilt. There's no anything that's gonna go up against that. So until we can do that, I think that they should get rid of the death penalty. The next is an ethical case study. If a friend were to come and ask me about joining the military, but they're kind of worried that they would have to kill someone, and they're not sure if any kind of forced death is ethical. Through my experience and knowledge, I would share with them and advise them that there is a possibility that they would have to kill someone, and they should only join if they're aware of that and accept that as a real life situation. So if they're going to join the military because they think what the military does and what it stands for is great, but they're just on the fence about killing someone, I would advise them to look into a job that is very less likely to be in that scenario, but to understand that even during peacetime, like, there's still conflicts going on where you might have to kill people, and even if you have this specific job when you deploy, you might have a different job where you would be at more risk. So I do think they would need to solidify that, and I would share with them what I've learned of what C.S. Lewis wrote, but I would go more for their job and just let them know that they really need to accept that. And if they're just joining the military for financial, educational, or adventurous reasons, then I would advise them against it 100% until they're positive how they feel about having to kill someone in a war zone. The support I have is my personal experience has allowed me a unique vantage point. Like, I've been there, done that kind of thing, so I can give them a different view of what it's really like and not what the recruiters are going to say to them. Also, some people say that Christians should be pacifists because it says thou shalt not kill, and then Jesus says to turn the other cheek. However, pacifism not backed by force is very nearly helpless to fulfill the things that the military is able to do. Because the military service allows the fundamental moral duties of to do justice and protect the innocent. And pacifists can do that, but there are certain scenarios where they would have to use force, and therefore they won't be able to do it anymore. So that's the support I have behind that. One thing this class has not solidified any kind of decision on is alternative means for conception, like in vitro fertilization, surrogate egg freezing, and there's many more. I just don't. I don't have a solid stand on it. Reasoning for the incision, part of it is biblical considerations. Like, I haven't looked too much into it. I know that the Bible sort of uses surrogates, but it always affects the marriages negatively. So I don't know how I feel about that. And then surrogates today aren't the same as back then. Like, your husband doesn't go sleep with another woman, so it's different. I haven't done enough research on it, especially biblically, to really know where I stand. I do have friends and family that have done it, and they have a perfectly healthy child from it and everything, but I just haven't done my own personal research. And then sometimes, like, there's the doctors, it seems like they might be playing God, but also maybe they're helping God's command to be fruitful and multiply. So when it comes to playing God and affecting these babies and altering them in some way, I'm totally against that. But aside from that, I'm not really sure where I stand. And I have no personal experience in the matter. And those are my references. Thanks.